Alright, so for this review, we'll start with Resolve stuff. After that, we'll see Powerdirector second and Pinnacle Studio third. So let's start with the price. So for Resolve, we will talk here every time about the full version, I mean the complete version. So for Resolve 16, this all the price it's for only for comparison anyway, but it's gonna be in Canadian dollar. So it's $445 for the full version, Davinci Resolve Studio 16. For Powerdirector, you got tons of price. For the full version, it's $139, and I think those ones are in Canadian also. They're all Canadian, and but you also have this one here for the editor, which is $54 per month. Gives you more access to stuff. And Pinnacle Studio for the full version price, it's $129. So they're all really good software, but for that one, if we talk only about the price, the winner is Pinnacle Studio. Alright, second thing now, let's see how about a free version. So Davinci Resolve, here they have a free version, but like you can see, you don't have all the tools. So if you only need something to do small effect and just editing stuff for your YouTube, it's a good choice. It's full free. No watermark, no anything, no surprise. Powerdirector, there is no free version, but if you go see in the download, you have a trial version, which will give you access to a 1 month free version. So it's a little start at least. Pinnacle Studio, even though I really like that one, there's nothing free, nothing, no trials. So I mean, yeah, that's it. Price is good. Buy it the first time. That's what they want you to do. So the points for the free version, of course, with that one, it is going to Resolve, which even if it's not a full version, they have a free version. Okay, now let's go see the timeline and tracks, which is really the basic of editing. This is your timeline in Davinci Resolve. So just drag and drop a clip. I'll choose that one. Drag and drop. So in the timeline, what's important is the length of the timeline. In the Davinci, you can move it a bit like this. You can just not move it. Normally, I'd like this little arrow to move it like that. You can just change the size of your timeline like this, or with this button, which is not too bad. It's not my favorite way of doing it, but actually at least you can do it. In Powerdirector, this is your timeline, which looks really beautiful. Once again, just drag and drop, but this time you have this little arrow right on the timeline, which I really like to change your size. And in Pinnacle Studio, drag and drop once again, and just like the other one, you have this little button to change directly the timeline in here. And if you want to add the track, well, in this one, you just right click and then you go add a track. And with Pinnacle Studio, you have unlimited track, which is just awesome. And this one, once again, same thing. Powerdirector, right click, you go add a track, and then it's going to ask you what kind of track you want. Okay, and it's going to add a track right above or below. This one goes below. You're limited to 100 tracks, which I would not penalize in my review, because honestly, if you're doing video on YouTube or stuff like that, there's like a prosumer, what they call, you won't need more than 100, so I won't penalize it. Same thing with that one. Track line, add a track, boom, add an audio track, same thing, right click. So they're all pretty easy to use. if I would have to choose which my favorite is, I would go probably with Pinnacle Studio, unlimited track, and very like long track and big clips, easy to see. But honestly, they're almost all the same, so I won't penalize one of them. I'll give a point to all of them. Timeline tools. So the tools are the thing that are here, and since I won't do a review on all the tools, there's two major tools that you need in a good editing software. So the two major tools are this one. This is Davinci Resolve. So this is the cut tools. So if you're working in editing mode, you would like to cut, you need to cut stuff. I mean, okay, I want to cut that one here. See how easy that was? Then it's becoming like two clips, and you can do anything like that. Second one is the magnet tool, and in they call it snapping tool in Resolve. They have it because if you want to do proper editing and you bring another clip and you want to make sure it snaps like that, see, it won't go above it. You want it to snap right on it. So those are the two major tools that if you don't have it in your editing software, it's going to the garbage. Powerdirector, we'll try it in here too. So you have this scissor tool. So it's not exactly like, if I cannot go here, put it here and say, okay, I want it cut right here. It's gonna open a new window, and you're gonna have to trim it like this, which will do the job less faster. So for that one, I won't give a point to Powerdirector on that one. But at least for the snapping tool or magnet tool, it's automatic. You'll have it, see, there you go, you see the blue line, so you have it right here. So at least you have that one. When since the cut tool's not working the best way, I won't give it a point today. And in Pinnacle Studio, your tool is split clip here, so you just bring it here, split clip, there you go, that's it, pretty easy. And your magnet tool is magnetic snapping tool is working right now because it's yellow, so you'll see it click right away, or you can just deselect and then it won't, it's gonna push it like that. So you got pretty good option. So for the magnet tools today, I'm gonna give a point to Davinci Resolve and Pinnacle Studio. All right, now let's go see the effect. And if you're looking for a good effect, of course, you can do stuff with all of them, but just keep in mind, these are not like Adobe After Effects or like Media Composer, all add-on and everything like Final Cut Pro, Final Cut Studio. But you can do tons of things if you're really used to those software. So for Davinci Resolve, the effects are here. So I won't do a tutorial all of them, the effect, I'll just talk real quick about it. So you have all the effects that are here, drag and drop, chromatic, all of the three software. You have green screen, so that's good. Pretty much all of them, it's drag and drop concept, little blur, like blur box, drag and drop. See, it has blurred the effect. All of them you can go Control Z to come back. All of them you have the keyframe, which like that one, you click on the clip, inspector, keyframes are all those little points. So let's say I like that image to stay like that here, I'll just put a keyframe. The only thing I hate about that one is it's not really visual. I have put a keyframe right here. Okay, do you remember it's here? I mean, it's a little harder to see. And after that, I'd like to advance my clip right here, give it a big zoom. See, this little arrow here says, hey, you have a keyframe before that one, but you've put one here. All right, okay, fine, but I mean, it's a little harder to see. But at least see the zoom it's just operating the magic. A lot of effect with that software, Davinci Resolve, are made with this powerful tool here called Fusion, which you have your effect library, and you take something like blur, bring the blur right here, but then you're gonna have to connect your blur to your media. This is your media from beginning. This is your media from the result, from everything you're gonna bring here. So don't get me wrong, Fusion is powerful, but if you're new to it, it's really hard to use. You'll do tons of things, but it's really hard to use, like pretty much all of the effect in Resolve. So that's a downside of Resolve. If you're new to editing, you'll be lost. Honestly, you'll need a lot of tutorial. But at least if you're really used to it and it's the only one you use, you'll get there. But it's just harder to use. Powerdirector, I mean, for any beginner, the effects are so easy to use. There's about 157 effects. So you have this little, it's kind of cool that you can see whichever you want before with this little balloon. Once again, drag and drop on your clip. Boom. The lady just came in black and white because that's what I've choose. Once again, Control Z if you're not really happy with it. I mean, there's tons of things you can do. Double click on it. You have your chroma key if you're working on some green screen. You have the border. You can work the properties on the clip, which is really cool. See, you can move your clip. There's the keyframe here. There you go, which will appear just like the other one, but at least with that one you can see what you're doing, like clips attribute. Put the keyframe. See, at least here you can see the keyframe. So I'll advance it, and then I'd like to do a little something like that, and it has just put another keyframe. Keyframe are so important in the effect. And just like the other one, in that one you cannot do very good masking. Here, if I go back to Davinci Resolve, you have mask. Here you can create a mask, put an image above another, or just isolate something. Just once again, in Davinci Resolve, it's a little hard to use. In that one, it's not really good for masking. In the Pinnacle Studio, I mean, for effect, it's crazy. You have like 1500 effects. You can look all the way one to one. I mean, it's crazy. Like here, I have 7 stretch effects. So you just click here, then you're gonna see all of it. It's way too long to show it to you guys because there's way too many effects, but it's actually just awesome because I mean, everybody likes effect. And good thing is they're easy to use, so you got tons of effect and so easy to use. I like the flames here, so I'm just gonna put the flames right above that guy. I bring the flames here, just drag and drop, and after that you can double click on it and it's gonna bring you like stuff that you can do with it. You can move it, you can play with your clip with the properties like that. I mean, you could go just with smaller flames. Just go Control Z once again, and the keyframe works just like the one in Powerdirector. I could put a keyframe like all keyframe here, boom, all keyframe, and then there's this little super cool tool, scale mode. So I'd like to go here, change the size. See, it has put a keyframe right here, so it's working the magic just in between those two. You have all the effect that are here, like earlier when I've put the flames. This is the place where I could change the flame size and play with it. You can have keyframe on your effect. Honestly, for yes, Davinci Resolve with Fusion, you can do tons of things. It's really powerful, but for the number of effect and the easy to use, you can do pretty much everything you want with this one here, with Pinnacle Studio 24 Ultimate. So my point for effect will go with that one. All right, next one, I'll put together overlays, templates, and transition. Why? Because they're all stuff that don't need really big editing. Transitions are transition. Overlays and templates, they're stuff that you can put above an image that's included in your software. And just like templates are stuff that are pre-made in the software. There's not much here in Davinci Resolve unless you go, like it says, edit templates, but it's not really. Once again, it's gonna be so complicated. You have to go like take stuff from here to here. But for pre-image that are already here and everything, it's not the greatest one, honestly. But it's not something you will need a lot anyway. For transition, video transition, they're here. So let's say blur transition. I mean, it's pretty easy. It's just a drag and drop system. You could go work on it a little more longer or smaller. So with Davinci Resolve transition are really easy to use. They're all here. Or you have audio transition. We'll talk about that later. So these are your transition. They have all the major industry transition like fade in, fade out, blur, page going in, page going out, but there's not many of it. Powerdirector. So for the overlays, there's a couple. It's really cheesy. I mean, you can have this little thing above your image. It's really, or those little thing like people clapping. You just put it there and there you go. You have like people clapping below. Just find it really cheesy, but it's part of the software, so I'm just showing it to you. Maybe something like that one's a little better, like that. So there's a couple. I mean, nothing really too fancy. Transition, so just take that one off. So you got 185 transition, just like Resolve. There you go. Drag and drop. Rendering is pretty fast. So I mean, nothing real hard with Powerdirector transition. You got 185 and they're all there. You got a preview if you want to click on it. There you go, A to B. Some special stuff. Kind of cool, not too bad. Pinnacle Studio 24 for templates, overlays. So you have just like Powerdirector, you have some cheesy stuff that you can put on it. Graphic, basic shapes, some arrows if you need it. There's actually 700 more stuff, so there's a lot. Animated overlays. I'll put it right here. Actually, with that one, you gotta put it above. See? There you go. So there's a couple, there's more than a couple, there's a lot of overlays. We saw that there's like 100 something, 700 and something. For those little things here, there are other kind of templates, like templates are pre-made stuff. So you could add one first image, second image, third image. You actually got tons of it. Love, because you're doing something for St. Valentine's Day. And the transition. All of your transition, once again, with that one, you got thousands and thousands of, well, not thousands and thousands, more than 1,000 of transition. Once again, it's easy drag and drop. We just shot the glasses. It was really fast. Okay, so what you can do is just add it longer. There you go. You have the glasses. With the transition, what I like here is there you got new blue advanced transition, which are pretty cool. Standard transition. I mean, they have, what I like is they have like subject, doors, multimedia, and you can search right here. Let's say you're doing wedding stuff, so I just type wedding, and then for my wedding video, then I'll have some wedding transition. So I mean, it's pretty much basic or advanced basic for all of the three, but just because of the number of things you can do, once again, the point will go to Pinnacle Studio 24 Ultimate. All right, titles now. Every kind of movie you will have titles. Davinci Resolve titles. Titles are here. Bring it here, right above. Here's your little title. That's because that's the one I've choose. Just like that. Double click on it. Write whatever you want to write. It's gonna change. Very, very, very easy to use. Just like we like it. And the thing is about title is sometimes you don't want to just write a little something like that. You want it to move. You want some templates. You want a animation. You want maybe not to do a title on a movie. You might want to do a super cool YouTube intro with titles, stuff like that. It's doable with Davinci, but I'll talk about that later. It would be doable in Fusion title. Okay, titles. Then you choose your titles here and bring it here. And then see there's a couple of layers. So lots of things are doable. It's really an advanced title thing with Davinci, but I'll talk about that later. Powerdirector titles. I mean, all content 35. Very, very, very basic. I mean, you could do stuff that, I mean, you got all the normal thing. I mean, just drag and drop your title and it's really easy to use. If you're doing a little movie for your family or just a little something on YouTube, I mean, just like see how easy it is. I drag, drop, change the name of your title, and there you go. I mean, just work the position and save and you're done. So I mean, very easy to use, but sometimes when I just like to have more. You won't do a super cool intro or very cool like special title stuff moving and everything with Powerdirector. That's probably his most downside, but don't get me wrong. I mean, it's you still everything you need to do all the basic. So at least Powerdirector is good anyway for that, better than other than I've seen that are not in a review right now here. Pinnacle Studio 24 Ultimate, that's the major improvement is the title. They had good titles before, but now they had like more advanced title stuff like premium pack, standard, title extreme. I mean 3D text. So I mean, I could do a complete tutorial on titles like I could do a complete tutorial with Davinci Resolve titles. So this would be probably too long. because I mean there's so many things you can do. They have like so many things. There's like movement templates. There's like pre-made intro, just like that. And if I just put a normal title, I would be using the keyframe on my title. So honestly, the titles are really, really advanced, just like Davinci. The reason I just wanted to come back on Davinci is you could have pretty much the same advanced result from working with Davinci than Pinnacle Studio, but Pinnacle Studio is going to be easier and faster. I've been asking 6 of my buddies that have studied movie editing, and they've been trying both. And unless you're using only DaVinci Resolve and you're really in love with it, I mean, Fusion is either you like it or not, because it's longer. And I mean, just because of that, even if you can have the same result, I'm going to give the points once again to Pinnacle Studio. Next one on the list, let's go talk about color and sound, because if you're doing a little more advanced movie, you'd like to have a little music, maybe sound effect, and color correction. DaVinci Resolve, just after Fusion right here, you have this little color page, which is really, really working perfectly. I like those little wheels. That's really a good way to work on your color. Probably one of the favorite for a lot of good editor. You can work with those little points right here. You have some other page. You can have all the everything you have here with your little points. I mean, color correction for DaVinci is really, really good. And right after the other, since we're talking about color and sound, you have your mixing page. So your mixing page, you have audio effect, which are kind of good. This page is really good. A little longer to learn how to use, but it's a really efficient mixing page. You put all your clips right here, put your transition on it, work all everything like points by points right here. So that's really good. Now, sound effect and music free of copyright, sound library, and download free sound library. You'll have a couple, but you have to search. It's not everything's included. You have some free library, but you have to register. If I click download, it's gonna bring you to their own page, and it's gonna ask you to register what's your name or everything. You have the paid version. I mean, it's the mix and sound page is really good. For the free stuff, little harder. Powerdirector. So back into the color stuff. So I'll just click on here. It's called Fix and Enhance. You just click on it and you have all the kind of correction you can do. So color correction right here. Let's try it. There you go. See what it's doing. So I mean, you have all the basic that you need, which is a good thing. So for color correction, I mean, it'll pass the test for Powerdirector. Now for audio, you have this little voice recorder here, audio mixing. So it's really, really basic. I just came into the sound clip. So a bit of a effect that you can add. There's not tons of it, but there's a couple. So for when it comes to the sound, mixing sound, you have all the basic in Powerdirector. Not complete enough to be this mixing stuff from DaVinci Resolve. Pinnacle Studio. Cool thing about sound is you have a couple of options. You have this little thing to play directly on your line, which is really easy, but you have also like the audio docking that you could use for a little more advanced stuff. But something that I really like are those things here. Score Fitter. You have 561 sound that are already included. So that's really, really, really a plus. And since we're talking about sound, you also have sound effect. So those were the music. Now sound effect. Now I'm only on cartoon, but you have a lot of it. Animals. So once again, Pinnacle Studio with version after version, they put more stuff. So I'd like to give the points only to that one, but I'll give a point to Davinci Resolve also because of the advanced audio page. Even if there's less stuff that are included, but since we're talking about color and sounds, color page is really good. So I'll give a point to Davinci Resolve and Pinnacle Studio. All right, so others and conclusion. Conclusion about all of them. So first of all, they're all advanced editing software, not as advanced like Final Cut Pro with Final Cut Studio or Adobe Premiere with After Effects or Media Composer, but they're not beginner stuff also. So one by one for conclusion and the winner at the end. Davinci Resolve. Good thing you have a very good free version, more advanced stuff if you go with the paid version. A little expensive, but not that much. I mean, not like those big Media Composer full version with subscription and everything. In all those three, Davinci Resolve is probably the one that's harder to use. Big learning curve if you're really new to editing, especially with all the Fusion stuff. It has a really good note. It passed the test. If I would have to choose between those three, is it my choice? We'll see. It's really good with color. The mixing audio is really good. Deliver here for export. You can export pretty much every kind of file you want. Really, really working good. So yeah, Davinci Resolve 16, really good software. Honestly, try the free version because it's really good. The major point, you can try it for free. Powerdirector. So Powerdirector is good thing is you can try it at 3 months. So if you're really, really new, it's probably the easiest one in those three software to use. So I mean, it's a really good software. It will do the job to get you to point A to Z if you don't try to do like really, really specific thing. But it's really the first time I've tried it like 3 months ago or something like that. I really loved it. I mean, because it's easy to use. I was just imagining I was new, and I just asked a couple of friends who are professional editor to try it, and they all said the same thing. Man, this one's easy to use. You won't do 100% of what you have in mind, but I mean, if it's only like for YouTube and home family movie, this one's really a good choice. The last one, Pinnacle Studio with 24 Ultimate version, a really, really good price. I mean, when it comes to effect, sound, transition, their library is just awesome. There's tons of tools now that have been added years after years after years. Tons of track, really easy to use. Some advanced effect might be a little harder to use. Of course, when you do advanced effects, it's never like really, really easy, but there's tons of super cool tools that you have here. Coloring grading is good. You have tons of good things like this one here. You have motion tracking that is really easy to use. And good thing is the one with full version that has the best price. It's the one that has more features that are easy to use. Advanced stuff, thumbs up. So if I would have to choose with only one of those three, my winner is Pinnacle Studio 24 Ultimate.